Okay, so we just talked about how to solve an equation when you have part over whole equals percent over 100. And this was the example we looked at. Miss Souther's students wearing white socks, and we found out by cross multiplying that 21 students were wearing white socks. Sometimes though, we're given very little information like this. What is 25% of 75? Well, when it's this simple, you don't have to cross multiply. It's a very simple multiplication problem. So the first thing I have to do is I have to switch from a percent sign to a decimal. Well, and I know to do that, sometimes it's easier to put it into a fraction first. Okay, and I know when I do that, my percents always go out of 100. And I know to change it from a percent to a decimal, all I have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the left. Well, in looking at this, I have 25, that's a whole number. So my decimal's at the very end. So all I have to do is take my decimal, move it 2 places to the left. So there's 1. There is 2, and that's where my new decimal is going to go. So my answer to what percent is this as a fraction, it would be 25 over 100. As a decimal, it would be 0.25. Now let's go back to this fraction for just a second. 25 out of 100. I know in math the best thing to do is to reduce my fractions whenever I have a chance to, right? So I need to do some division here. 25 and 100, can I reduce that? Absolutely. I know that if I go through here and look, if I divide by 25, I can reduce this to 1 out of 4, okay? So I know there's 3 different ways of showing 25%. One is at a percentage. The next is the fraction, 1/4, and the next is the decimal 0.25. Okay, so let's go back to the question. 25% of 75 is what? Okay, well, when you have a situation like this, you're literally just multiplying. 25% as a decimal, 0.25, times 75. Now, I like to keep my decimals on the bottom, if at all possible. Don't know why, it's just something I've always done. If you want to flip it, it doesn't matter. That's the great thing about the multiplicative property. It doesn't matter which one's on top. Okay, so let's do the math. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37. I'm going to drop my placeholder. 2 times 5 is 10. Raise my 1, drop my 0. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Now I'm going to add these together straight down. 5 and 0 is 5. 7 and 0 is 7. 5 and 3 is 8. And 1 is just 1. Now here's where it gets tricky. If you look at this, I have 2 numbers behind my decimal, which means when I come down here, I also must have to have 2 numbers behind my decimal. Okay, so knowing that, that means 25% of 75 is equal to 18.75. There we go.